Awakening isn't a single moment. It's a slow unfolding, a remembering of what was never truly lost. You move through layers of illusion, each one dissolving a little more of who you thought you were. Sometimes it feels like falling apart. Sometimes it feels like peace. But in truth, you are only being guided back to yourself. Each soul awakens differently, some through stillness, others through pain. The path is not linear, yet every step carries purpose. In this journey, there are 7 stages, 7 gateways that every awakened soul will walk through, each revealing a deeper layer of consciousness. Take a breath. You are exactly where you need to be. Most souls begin here in the sleep state, a space where life feels ordinary, repetitive, and strangely distant. You wake up, go through the motions, and yet something inside feels hollow. You fill your days with distractions, goals, relationships, noise, anything to avoid the quiet ache that whispers there's more to life than this. You may feel disconnected, restless, or unsure why happiness never seems to last. You might sense that something invisible is missing, but can't explain what it is. In truth, this is not a mistake. It's the soul's way of preparing you. The sleep state protects you from awakening too soon. It allows you to build strength, experience contrast, and explore identity before remembering who you really are. Every repetitive routine, every numb day, every sense of emptiness, it all serves a hidden purpose. Because one day, the illusion will no longer satisfy you, and that restlessness, that quiet sadness, becomes the first light breaking through your inner night. This is the beginning of remembrance, the moment before you start to wake up. Awakening doesn't begin with peace, it begins with collapse. Something happens that cracks the foundation of your reality. A breakup, betrayal, loss, illness, burnout, or sometimes nothing external at all. You simply wake up one morning and realize the life you've built no longer fits the person you've become. The trigger is not random. It's divinely designed to pull you out of alignment with illusion. It's the moment the universe says, you can't live half asleep anymore. You start noticing how much of your life was built on autopilot, choices made from fear, validation, or old programming. And suddenly, you can't go back. It's disorienting. People may say, you've changed, but what they really mean is, you're no longer who we needed you to be. The old identity begins to crumble. Jobs feel meaningless. Relationships fall away. Even your hobbies, desires, and beliefs lose color. Everything that once brought comfort starts to feel foreign. It's the dark night of the soul, the sacred breakdown before the breakthrough. Many mistake this stage for failure or punishment, but in truth, it's the first evidence that your soul is waking up. The trigger reveals where your attachments lie. It exposes every illusion you've built around control, love, and safety, not to destroy you, but to set you free. You may feel anger, grief, confusion, sometimes all at once. But emotions at this stage are sacred messengers. They are not proof of weakness, but proof of aliveness. The pain is intelligence. It's how your higher self speaks when words can't. The question to ask isn't, why is this happening to me? It's, what is this trying to wake within me? Every trigger carries a teaching, one that no book, teacher, or course could ever give you, because it's written specifically for your soul. This stage doesn't end when things get better. It ends when you stop fighting what's falling apart and begin listening to what's trying to emerge. The trigger is the sacred fire that burns everything false, so that only truth remains. And once you walk through it, you will never see the world the same way again. After the collapse comes the search. The trigger shattered what you thought you knew, and now you're standing in the silence that follows. Nothing feels the same. You look around and realize you no longer fit into the life you once fought to hold together, and so begins the pilgrimage, not across distance, but through the self. The seeker is born from longing. It's that quiet whisper inside that says, there must be more. You start reading, meditating, questioning. You explore ancient texts, rituals, astrology, energy healing, anything that helps you make sense of what just happened. But this stage is not about collecting knowledge. It's about learning to listen. At first, your search is external. You look for teachers, signs, gurus, podcasts, something or someone who will finally give you the truth. But every time you find an answer, it leads you deeper into another question. Because real awakening doesn't come from information, it comes from integration. The seeker must unlearn before they can remember. You begin realizing how much of your identity was built on borrowed beliefs, family expectations, cultural conditioning, childhood wounds that shaped your worth. The more you peel away, the lighter you become. Yet, paradoxically, the more alone you feel. The crowd you once belonged to now seems distant, and the new world you're discovering still feels unfamiliar. You walk between two realities, the one that's dying and the one that hasn't yet fully arrived. This is the sacred middle ground of awakening, disorientation. You start to sense energies more deeply. You notice how rooms change when people enter, how certain words tighten your chest, how your intuition speaks in sensations instead of logic. Sometimes it's overwhelming, like you've opened too many channels at once. You crave guidance, but the universe answers with silence. And in that silence, you learn one of the most important spiritual truths. The path reveals itself only when you stop trying to control it. Slowly, life begins to rearrange. Books appear in your hands at the right moment. You meet someone who says exactly what you needed to hear. Dreams turn symbolic. Numbers repeat. Animals cross your path with purpose. You start to realize the universe isn't testing you. It's talking to you. The seeker's journey is not about finding God. It's about remembering you've never been separate. Every pain, every loss, every unanswered question was simply guiding you back home. This is the stage where the heart begins to open again, where faith is rebuilt, not through religion, but through direct experience. You no longer need proof that something greater exists because you can feel it. And though you're still walking in the dark, there's a light now, not outside of you, but within. The seeker realizes the soul doesn't need to go anywhere. It only needs to remember where it already is. Every seeker eventually reaches a threshold, the point where the identity that once defined you begins to dissolve. This is the stage mystics call the ego death. It's not literal death. It's the death of who you thought you were. You've done the work, the healing, the reading, the rituals, the understanding, but now life asks you to surrender something far deeper: control. You start to see how much of your spirituality was still the ego's disguise. The need to be right, the need to be good, the need to feel chosen or special. Ego death strips that away, piece by piece. It doesn't come with angelic music or blissful calm. It comes as an unraveling. You might feel lost, even betrayed, as though the universe has abandoned you. But what's really happening is purification. The false layers are burning away, and it hurts because you've been identified with them for so long. The ego resists by any means possible, overthinking, distraction, emotional collapse, even spiritual superiority. It whispers, "You're falling apart." But the soul knows you're finally coming undone in the right direction. At first, you may feel nothing makes sense anymore. Words lose meaning, ambitions fade. People mirror your shadow back to you. You realize the journey was never about becoming more. It was about becoming less. Less of what's false, so that what's real can finally breathe. This is when humility replaces pride. When silence feels truer than any explanation. When you no longer chase outcomes, because you understand that everything already carries its own timing. Ego death doesn't erase you. It frees you from the need to define yourself at all. It's like watching a house you've lived in for lifetimes burn down. You grieve, but you also feel relief because you finally remember you were never the house. You were the light inside it. In this stage, you learn to exist without armor. You speak without performance. You love without attachment. You create without seeking validation. And in that vulnerability, the divine steps closer. What was once effort becomes flow. What was once fear becomes freedom. What was once identity becomes essence. The ego death is not the end of your story. It's the first time your soul starts writing it. After ego death comes silence. Not peace, not yet, but a strange, endless stillness. You wake up and realize you no longer know who you are, what you want, or where you're going. Everything feels neutral, empty. Even the things that once brought light seem to fade into gray. This is the void, the space between identities, between who you were and who you're becoming. Many call it depression. Others call it burnout. But on a soul level, it's sacred disconnection. The universe has pulled you into darkness not to punish you, but to teach you how to see without your eyes. For the first time, you're no longer being guided by external validation or internal noise. You're being retuned, stripped of every false frequency that once dictated your worth. The void is where everything unnecessary dies. You may feel lost, numb, unmotivated. It's not because you've lost your light. It's because your old light no longer fits the next version of you. The ego panics here. It wants to fix, to label, to escape, but there is nothing to fix. The only task in the void is surrender. Sit in a silence until the silence starts speaking. The void is a sacred recalibration. It removes noise so that you can finally hear the sound of your soul. Here, you'll notice how much of your old self was addicted to doing, proving, pleasing. You'll begin to see the subtle ways you've abandoned yourself in relationships, careers, even spiritual practices. It's disorienting because nothing outside of you mirrors who you are anymore. The universe pulls back all distractions so that only truth remains. Many give up here. They think something's wrong with them. But the ones who stay emerge with wisdom that no book could ever give. The void teaches the art of still creation, how to birth something new from nothingness. It's the space where intuition strengthens, where silence becomes a teacher, where divine timing is not a concept, but a lived experience. The mind says nothing is happening. The soul whispers everything is rearranging. You start realizing that peace isn't loud. It doesn't rush. It doesn't perform. It just is. Slowly, you begin to rebuild, not from ambition, but from alignment. You take smaller steps, but they feel truer. You speak less, but your words carry more weight. You no longer chase light, you embody it. This is where rebirth begins, not with effort, but with remembrance. The void is the womb of awakening. It's where the soul dissolves into the infinite and returns as something purified. And one day, without fanfare, the fog lifts. You see color again. You breathe differently. You laugh again, but this time it comes from somewhere real. You've survived the death of who you thought you were, and now you're ready to live as who you truly are. The void doesn't last forever, even though it feels like it might. One day, without any dramatic sign or divine announcement, you simply wake up, lighter. The world looks the same, yet it doesn't feel the same. You've been rewritten from the inside out. This is the rebirth, the quiet resurrection that follows spiritual death. The chaos has stilled. The noise has softened. You no longer chase meaning, you embody it. In the rebirth, you begin to move with life instead of against it. You stop trying to fix the river and start learning how to flow. The people, patterns, and timelines that left your life no longer ache the way they used to. There's no bitterness, only understanding, because now you see the divine logic behind everything that fell apart. You don't need to prove, persuade, or perform anymore. You speak slower, but with deeper intention. You make fewer moves, but each one carries precision. You understand that power is not force, it's frequency. Your intuition sharpens into quiet certainty. You sense alignment not through thought, but through resonance. The rebirth is not about returning to who you were. It's about remembering who you've always been, before the conditioning, before the fear. You rediscover joy in the smallest details: sunlight through a window, laughter shared without heaviness, silence that feels full instead of empty. The universe mirrors your new energy. Opportunities appear naturally, synchronicities return, but now you don't chase them, you follow them with grace. Your nervous system, once wired for survival, starts to trust again. Rest no longer feels lazy, it feels sacred. You begin to attract people who feel like peace, not performance. The soul that once felt broken now realizes it was only shedding illusions. You start creating again, not to be seen, but because creation itself is devotion. In the rebirth, your relationship with the divine becomes effortless. You don't seek connection anymore. You live in it. Every thought, every breath, every act becomes a prayer. The difference now is that you don't need constant signs or confirmations. You've integrated faith so deeply that you are the sign. The rebirth isn't a single moment, it's a gradual remembering. You begin to realize that enlightenment isn't a destination. It's a rhythm of breaking, healing, integrating, expanding. You'll still have human moments. You'll still forget. You'll still feel pain, but you'll never again be lost, because once you've seen truth, you can't unsee it. The rebirth is where the human and the divine finally shake hands. It's where you start to live not as a seeker, but as a bridge between worlds. After the rebirth comes something even quieter. The return. It's the part most people never talk about, because awakening feels infinite when you're in it. You think, how could I ever go back to ordinary life after this? But eventually, life calls you back. Not to lose your light, but to embody it. The return is when the inner transformation starts taking shape in the physical world. It's when all the wisdom you gathered in solitude must now walk among people, systems, noise, and distraction, and still stay sacred. You begin to move through the same spaces, but you're no longer the same person. Conversations feel different. Your energy feels different. Even your silence carries truth. At first, the return feels uncomfortable, like wearing new skin in an old world. You notice how easily people confuse peace with indifference, boundaries with ego, stillness with weakness, but you don't explain yourself anymore. because explanation belongs to the ego. Embodiment belongs to the soul. You stop seeking belonging and start creating resonance. You realize that the purpose of awakening was never to escape the human experience. It was to live it consciously. In this stage, your light becomes practical. You start applying compassion where you once applied judgment. You listen more, react less. You no longer preach, you simply are. The return is where the sacred meets the ordinary. When washing dishes feels like meditation, when eye contact becomes prayer, when your very presence alters a room without a single word, you learn that divinity was never far. It was hidden in every mundane moment, waiting for your awareness. The return isn't about going back. It's about walking forward with integration. You bring heaven down to earth through the way you treat others, the way you create, the way you speak truth even when it trembles. You become a living frequency, a walking reminder of what peace looks like in motion, and that's the quiet irony. You left the world to find yourself, and now you return to help the world remember itself too. This is where the soul's journey becomes service. You no longer ask, "What can I get from life?" You ask, "What can move through me?" You understand that your story, your pain, your awakening were all pieces of the same divine equation. The return is the beginning of true creation, not from ego, but from essence. You no longer chase purpose. You are purpose. Every breath, every choice, every act of awareness. And slowly, you realize the journey never ends. It simply deepens. Take a breath. You've walked through awakening and back into yourself. Now pause for a moment and ask, which stage are you in right now? Are you dissolving, rebuilding, or finally returning home to peace? There's no rush. Every phase is sacred. Every silence is guidance. Trust the season you're in. The light you seek is already becoming you. Until next time, may your path be gentle, your lessons wise, and your spirit grounded in truth.